Hello, country. I mean, hello, friends in the country. There's one of them right now. There is Papa Country. Hi, I'm Mike. Hi, Papa Country. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Mike. How you doing today?
Good, man. And your flannel is looking more spring-like. The camo on top is a little lighter in color. It just seems like you're brightening up. The beard is starting to trim down a bit. What's going on with you, Papa Country?
I'm just trying to blend in up here in Great County. I almost took my shirt off today. I don't know if our viewers would like to hear that or even envision what that might look like. But wow, what a beautiful day! Spring is here in
Before
Great
the end of the
County.
show, we will provide you with a number for a certified therapist to help you through that image that is now stuck in your head.
I'm sorry, everybody.
How you keeping? The thaw is on up there, huh?
It is on. Yeah, we're keeping very well. We had a really nice Easter, different than previous years, but the boys had a good time nonetheless. And the warmer weather is affording us the opportunity to take stock of the damage that the snow has caused to the property, and it's given Mama Country and I an opportunity to work together as a team to kind of fix things up and get things ready for summer with the horses.
Well, excellent. Glad to hear that. Okay, look, we're going to talk a little bit of cast and blast today.
Yep.
Before we get there, though, I have to ask you about that stunning apparel you're wearing. He said, inserting an ad for said sponsor.
This is my I Love Great County t-shirt. So it's I Heart GC. We've got t-shirts and masks. And believe it or not, these masks fit our 2-year-old son and they fit me too. So they've got a breathing filter on the side. They've got the I Heart GC decal on one cheek, 2 layers plus a third on the inside, and adjustable ear straps. So both the I Love Great County t-shirts and masks are available exclusively at Susan's Delicatessen in Markdale.
I love GC. I love Grey County. Yours now, Susan's Delicatessen, the exclusive location for that. They are really sharp looking, and it's a good message. As we record this, we are being told by our provincial government that we are to stay away from each other for another 30 days. So we
Yeah,
need to show
you,
the
you can
love.
still go to Susan's.
Susan's will be the hub of activity in the safest manner possible, and the place you get your heart. I Heart GC apparel. So well done. Okay, so today's show, and this is something that we've been building up to for a while, and I do like the way Papa Country chooses his hats for the show. Right now, he's got a Cabela's hat on. It looks to me like you are getting immersed in the hunting world, in the fishing world. You're really embracing country life in a big way, and a part of that experience for you, I think, has become interacting with wilderness as a hunter angler.
Yeah, I've been fishing for quite a while, but I just got into hunting maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I really love the sport. I think it teaches a great respect for nature and for life in general.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here in early part of April, which means that spring turkey season is just around the corner. And I noticed too that as a hunter, the way the dates are set for opening season for various game, it really gives a person something to look forward to in life. It kind of breaks up the monotony and day to day life, and particularly in the setting of a pandemic. But yeah, I took up hunting, like I said, not too long ago, so I'm very green, as it were, pardon the pun. But I've got a good mentor, the person who took me out duck hunting for my very first time ever when I would have otherwise should have been job hunting, I think, at the time. But he's kind of guided me along the way, and he's helped me learn a lot about the sport of hunting, also fishing. And he's actually our guest today. He's also been extremely helpful with Hello Country magazine. He's actually I call him the cast and blast expert for the magazine. So he contributes editorial to the magazine, and he also has a storyline that he's been telling over the last couple of editions of Hello Country called Dear Mike, and it's a really interesting series of articles that talk about how he got involved himself into the world of hunting and firearm ownership. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest, Brian Glassey, to the Hello Country podcast. Welcome, Brian.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me, Roger. I'm honored to be on the podcast.
Oh, it's great to have you, man. So, like I said, Mike, Brian is instrumental in getting me introduced to hunting. I always had an interest in the outdoors, but I didn't grow up in a family that was very outdoorsy, and very far from being pro hunting. Let's just say that. So Brian's helped to kind of demystify the whole concept of hunting, also of gun ownership, which is obviously a touchy subject, especially for guys who are from the city. Brian and I know each other. We've known each other for quite some time. He and I actually worked side by side for a little while in the city until we kind of each started to follow our own life paths. So we went in separate directions, and now we've kind of come together many years later. So it's good to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, I'm honored. Like I said,
I think it's kind of cool that you guys are reuniting after an experience that began in the city, back out in the country now, at a time in your life where you can actually provide some enjoyment to each other, and I'm glad that somebody with some experience, blasting for sure, is accompanying Papa Country. I'm not going to lie to you, that does make me a bit nervous. Hey, Brian, do you mind doing this for me, man? First of all, your articles about in Hello Country, Dear Mike, one of the things that I think that I glean from that is that people have a misconception, and maybe even you did at some point in your life, as to what hunting is. I think I'm starting to get a better handle on it through some of the podcasts that I've listened to. Joe Rogan is a good advocate of this sort of thing. But maybe you could explain for our listeners who aren't hunters that might have an opinion about how this is for the environment, how hunting works for the environment, and how it is quite a beautiful sport.
Sure. I mean, I would agree with your assessment. I came to be a hunter in the last kind of 10 or 12 years. Grew up in an urban environment, and like Papa Country, didn't have any exposure at all to it growing up. Had never fired a gun, had never really had any desire to hunt, but was always an outdoorsman and did a lot of canoe tripping and certainly a ton of fishing. And that was kind of my entry into the world of hunting. So when Roger and I kind of split ways, I was in the corporate world and decided that it wasn't for me, and took a look at my life and really tried to think of what's the one thing that I could do all day, every day, and never get tired of. And it was fishing. So I used my corporate background and ended up finding a job as a salesman for a small distributor in Mississauga in the fishing area. And they also sold guns and hunting equipment. And that's kind of how I got led into it. So I'd laid that out in those Dear Mike letters. But to answer your question a little more succinctly with the hunting, I really did have a lot of preconceived notions that were very wrong. A lot of people think that hunting is because you have bloodlust and it's all about the killing. And I've really learned that that's not at all what it is, at least not for me. So I find that I've got much more interest in the overall health of the animal populations now than I ever did previously, because I have a vested interest in making sure that those species are propagating and doing well. And so for me, that's a big part of it, where, I'm members of my big hunting area is waterfowl, I would say, ducks and geese. Duck, yeah. I definitely do hunt big game as well, and turkeys and things like that. But for me, waterfowling is the big one. And so I am a member of a couple of really great organizations, Ducks Unlimited and Delta Waterfowl, which are both really dedicated to not only helping hunters be better hunters, but also be better stewards of the land and better stewards for the entire populations that we happen to be engaged with.
That was entirely where I was going with this. I noticed, and hats off to Anglers Atlas, the guys who follow tournament fishing across Canada. that they are working hand in hand, for example, with their tournaments in getting research done to make sure that there are more fish, healthier waters, and healthier stock out there. And it's being done by the people who are angling those very animals.
That's right. In fact, I was involved for the last 2 years with an Environment Canada study that's being done where they get me to send them the tail feathers and a full feathered wing from every bird that I shoot. And they're doing a genetic study to be able to track long-term migration of the animals and how the populations are doing and have a really good understanding of the genomes of these birds. And so, for me, I put in time and money, considerable amounts of it, into the species as a whole. The duck hunting season, for example, runs October to end of December, call it. But, even now I'm helping friends put in duck nesting boxes on their property. And, my goal and the goal of Delta Waterfowl is to put back 2 birds for every one that I take out.
Oh, okay. What a simple yet beautiful mission that is.
Yeah.
So that's really what I wanted to highlight is that hunting is it has a really pure mission to it. Not only that, but it can be very healthy for you if you enjoy what you hunt.
Absolutely. Well, there's so many things about it that I didn't really realize. When you are in a swamp before the sun comes up, I've seen some incredible things at Luther Marsh, which is right in our backyard, just because I'm out there. Maybe I don't shoot any birds that day, but I get to see the tundra swans fly over me. I get to see all this wildlife that I would never have been exposed to without being out in the wild. And like you said, that has benefits in and of itself, right? There's almost a Zen quality to watching the sun come up and being surrounded by nature.
You never see a really good hunter, Papa Country, running around with their rifle out in the woods, do you?
No.
So this is a sort of as you say, a Zen mantra that you fall into while you're out there, that the nature is in control and you really are focused on watching it, enjoying it, absorbing it.
Yeah. I'll share a story with you that I think I've told to Papa Country already, but the first big game animal that I shot was a bear. Wow. And did a bear hunt with some friends up in way northern Ontario. And bears, when they're dying, do a death moan. So I took the shot. It ran about 20 yards. I heard it pile up, and then I heard it do the death moan. So I knew it was dying. And so I got to it pretty quickly. And when I got to it, its eyes were glowing green. And you can see it in the photos that I took. And I watched the light go out of its eyes. And there's no other way to describe it other than that it was a spiritual experience, right? In that moment, I realized that every single time I had enjoyed a steak or eaten meat, that had to happen, right? And there's a lot of guilt associated with it, right? It wasn't, for me at least, when I pulled the trigger, yes, part of it was, yeah, I did it and I did it properly and it was a clean shot. But there was also, oh my God, what have I done? there was a sudden realization that as a meat eater and as a part of the overall food chain, I understood my role in that much, much better instantly.
That's beautiful. That's a really beautiful story. And it's, I'll be honest with you, I do a lot of interviewing, right? And I've never, ever had anybody describe the hunting experience from that perspective. It's kind of incredible to me that it feels to me like there's a barrier. And I don't know, Papa Country, if you felt this before you got into it, it feels like there's a barrier between me and me hunting that I can't fathom. That I'm not well equipped. I don't know how to use the equipment properly. I don't know enough about nature. Brian, how do people make that leap? What's the bridge between me and me as the hunter?
Great question. I think there's a couple of important points. First is by here in Ontario, in order to get your firearms license, you have to do a weekend-long gun safety course where they teach you how to approach and handle a firearm in a safe way. And so that was my first step was, growing up in an urban environment, my only experience and exposure to firearms prior to that was reading about it or hearing about my neighborhood getting shot up by a gangbanger.
Yeah.
And, in that, at that time, my opinion was the same as a lot of urban dwellers. Nobody needs to have a gun. And I got into it because I was kind of forced into it through this change in my work situation, and I had to have my firearms license. But as soon as I took that course, I felt much more comfortable because I knew that I could show myself that the firearm was safe. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is you need to find yourself a hunting mentor. And so I'm honored to be Papa Country's hunting mentor. I still have a ton to learn myself, but everything that I've learned, I'm trying to share with Papa Country. I was very lucky at the first job that I had that one of the guys there was a diehard hunter, and he really took me under his wing. And the man is an encyclopedia of knowledge. I mean, I've been at it for 10 plus years now, and he absolutely puts me to shame in every way possible. And so he also demystified it quite a bit. The other thing to realize is it's not at all what you think, right? My first experiences were with duck hunting, and you would think you have a shotgun in your hand. How hard could it be to, you've got a bird 20 yards in front of you. Of course you're going to hit it. Like, nope, that's not how it goes. I've had lots and lots of times and still do even to this day. And I'm an okay shot where I got birds on top of me, bang, bang, bang. I shoot the gun 3 times and the bird flies away.
Wow.
And so, or you do things wrong and you never get the opportunity to take the shot in the first place.
Gotcha. The approach to the hunt has to be a huge portion of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so again, I was very lucky that the person who took me under his wing really knew what he was doing. And so I kind of learned at the feet of a master who had been at it for 40 plus years and really knew his stuff. And so that's a huge part of it as well.
Okay, so now the seasons are changing. What do we have coming up in the way of angling and hunting? What are the hunters got their focus on right now?
Sure. So most of the seasons are closed for hunting in the spring, but the one season we do get is for turkeys. So April 25th is the turkey opener that will stay open until kind of through to the end of May. You need to have a small games license. You need to have your firearms license if you're going to use a firearm to hunt turkeys. And then you'll have to go and buy a turkey tag. You're allowed to shoot 1 turkey a day. And a total of 2 in a season. So if I fill my first tag, I can go and buy a second one and try to get another turkey. I have shot turkeys in the past. It's incredibly difficult. So what people are doing now is scouting. So I'm laying the groundwork now for the end of the month. And the idea is that I go and drive and or walk the properties that I have access to and try to pattern the birds and figure out where they are, where they're going, so that on opening day, I have the ability to try to get in close. And for a turkey hunt, a 35-yard shot would be a long shot. Anything farther than that, I probably wouldn't pull the trigger. So, I would say to anybody who's ever not hunted, try to get within 25 yards of a turkey and see how difficult it is.
First of all, if that turkey turns on you, hey, Papa Country, can I tell you a couple of things I know about turkeys?
Please.
Those little buggers are scooters. You know what I mean? They just kind of cruise along and then scoot, 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 scoot. And then you think that they're going to keep at a pace, but they don't. They start to pick it up really quick. They're like, scoot, scoot, scoot. And you're like, what the hell are you scooting about? Turkey, calm down. They can be cagey. They will come at you. I have been turkey chased and turkey bit just below the right buttock before.
Oh, no.
You do not want to upset a turkey. So if you are going to get out there and turkey hunt, I'm going to suggest that you put some sort of protection in your back pocket. That's all. So, well, this is fascinating. You know what? I would love to hear more about this. I hear rumors of a Cast and Blast podcast, but I don't know. You know, why don't we just leave it at that? But if you're interested in this, you stay in touch with Hello Country, and Dear Mike may just find itself finding the light of day in the world of podcasting. And I think that this is really cool. But thank you, man. We appreciate this. Where can people find out more about you and find out more about hunting if they wanted to? What do you recommend?
There's lots of great sources of information out there. Obviously, magazines like Hello Country are contributing to that significantly. Yes, I'm hoping that the rumors you're hearing about a Cast and Blast podcast will come to fruition. So watch this space. In the meantime, I would say really the best thing you can do right now, if you're interested in turkey hunting, is find a mentor, try to scout some property and go and bang on some doors and see if you can get permission from some landowners to see if you can get out on the property. You know, a lot of it for me is really just getting out, and you know, the hunt is kind of secondary. If you take it for the process rather than the outcome, I really think that you'll be ahead of the game.
That's really great advice. Thanks, Brian. It was nice to meet you.
You too, Mike. Thanks, guys.
Good guy in the room there, Papa Country. Look at that. So now your hunting season begins. You are thawing the farm out as we speak. Animals are being... By the way, when I called you earlier today, you said you were building a goat run. What the hell is a goat run?
Yeah,
said City Boy.
no, we're building a goat run. And so we acquired 2 goats over the holidays. We were under the impression that the male goat was neutered, but discovered by surprise that he had actually snuck one past the keeper before they showed up on our property. And the female, who we thought was just overweight, turned out she was pregnant. So now we have 3 goats. So we just built an outdoor pen for them, and they need a bit of shade. So I built them a little run-in with some skids and some old aluminum siding as a roof. So that's what I was doing just prior to this podcast. Stuff I never thought I'd do, you know, growing up and living in the city.
That's what this is all about. Hello Country magazine is available in Grey County in all the best places. You probably get it in your mailbox. If you want to reach out and find out more because you heard the podcast and you want to take a look at the magazine, where can people have a look at that?
Oh, they can just go to hellocountry.ca.
All right. Listen, Papa Country, you're looking good. It was nice to see you. Thanks for bringing us another great guest today.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, and don't forget to get your I Heart GC apparel, Susan's Delicatessen, available now, and also amazing, good quality face masks that say I Heart GC, because we love Grey County. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Mike.